Hello, good morning. My name is Demisia Pomaidi. I'm excited to be back to serve you AM News. Now, let's start with a raging conversation because the Social Security and National Investment Trust, SSNIT, has decided to sell 60% of its shares in 4 hotels to a private investor, stating that it was the most viable option to revive the fortunes of the hotels. SSNIT Director General Kofi Bosompim Osafo-Maafo, in an address to the press Monday, emphasized that the trust has invested over 200 million cedis in the said hotels with no significant returns. He said the move to sell the hotels will bring in the necessary capital and expertise needed for the hotels' revitalization, ensuring their long-term sustainability and profitability.
We can simply not keep throwing money into it. So if you look at that table, it gives you what the 5-year average profit after tax is. You can see a lot of negatives in there. You can see that they haven't paid dividends, with the exception of Labadi in the last 5 years. Significant losses in La Palma and Ridge Royal, and indeed the others that make profits, they're not significant. And again, just to highlight, a significant amount of money has already been pumped into that. Well over 200 million has been put in the GBH hotels with no return in sight. Let's start looking at the hotels individually. And again, it's just worth noting for the GBH hotels, and starting with La Palma, the history is relevant. Because to start with, we injected a significant amount of capital. When we sum it to date, I think it's coming close to well over 230 million in shareholder loans and capital spent on the hotels. None of that has yielded anything to us. If we look at the profitability, the dividends, the returns, there's nothing to write home about. 11 out of the last 14 years, La Palma hasn't been profitable, has not paid us any dividend. And again, they are struggling. Average return is minus 4.2% in the period preceding the decision to divest of our 60% stake. If we look at Elmina, the picture is not that different. Indeed, it's 9 out of the last 14 years. Has not paid us a dividend. The money we put into that really hasn't earned us any returns. The returns are negative.
Well, Mr. Osafo-Maafo also rejected claims by the former national chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Freddie Blay, that a 200 million bid by his son to purchase 60% stake in its hotels was not considered.
Another issue that's been in the press, given all these issues about hotels, is the claim that has been made that by Mr. Freddie Blay, that his son's company, Spartan Ives, bid $150 to $200 million, and SSNIT turned it down. Again, that can't be substantiated. And I want to take you through the process and Spartan Ives' involvement with the trust. The way the process works is as follows. This process was on the procurement methodology was a cost and quality basis. What that means is that we assess the technical and financial proposals that you bring. First, you bring your technical proposal. You submit that. Everyone does. The proposals are opened in front of everyone. They go to an evaluation panel. It is scored. Once it is scored and you get past the pass-back, we then assess your financial proposal. That is the process, and that is what the law requires us to do. We did exactly that. Spartan Ives did not get past that stage. Their technical proposal was weak. They scored below the required 50%. And so their financial proposal was not even assessed. The envelope was not even opened. It was returned to them.
Now, away from SSNIT, residents of Noton are demanding the Volta River Authority construct safe havens as it prepares for yet another spillage of the Akosombo Dam, which previously left many homeless. The community, still reeling from the last overflow's devastating impact, seeks immediate action to prevent further displacement and ensure their safety. These demands, led by the Assemblyman for the Agbetikpo-Siko electoral area, follows the VRA's statement of an impending controlled spillage. Assemblyman for the area, Derek Kuga, said no formal communication has been made to the residents yet about the pending spillage. However, he demands adequate safety measures be taken to protect the residents.
In case something like that will happen, my message to VRAs is that it's the right time for them to come down with a plan, not only simulation exercise or a stakeholders meeting in the area or in the district assembly where the incident will occur. I think they should come out with a plan where the people will move to, where they are going to settle, or their shelters must be well prepared before this exercise will take place.
And Mr. Kuga added that the construction of housing units by the Ministry of Works and Housing for victims of the previous spillage has also stalled. Residents are still residing in classrooms of schools in the area.
They moved out of sight almost a month now. Per my correction of information from their source, they said they are short of material, so they'll be waiting until material come in before they'll be back to site. So currently the project has stopped, it's no more ongoing, and it doesn't even reach any place at all for we to have a home. At my camp here at Agbetikpo, some are still here in the classroom, and students are still using a tent that UNICEF have donated for them. Students are no more using their classrooms, and the whole places have just messed up. No more as a school. We just clarify it as a home now. Students are no more having their peace of mind or their privacy as a student. They are living with parents in the campus, where they don't have the privacy to just be within themselves as if they prepare from home going back to school. They take it as they are still at home. So academic performance within this season of time, I can imagine how it will be.
Well, attempts to speak to the VRA on the upcoming spillage have not been successful. Now, let's move on to some election stories, because the National Election Security Task Force has committed to rally all of its strength to sustain the peace of the country throughout the electioneering period. The task force has thus encouraged the Electoral Commission to keep them informed about its plans for elections in order for them to strategize accordingly in that regard. The Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, said this when he led the National Election Security Task Force to visit the chairperson of the Electoral Commission to commend the Commission for a successful votes transfer and limited registration exercise.
From the security point of view, coming to ask the EC and the team what exactly they think we did right that we need to continue doing, and what we need to improve upon as lessons that we also go back to reshape our strategy. Then at the other end, which is the fourth point, is to have a way of also telling you some of the concerns that we might have had. And then for us also to bring that to the fore, for you to help us so that going forward, those concerns can be also addressed. And more importantly, because you cannot revisit the past for purpose of reliving it, but you can only do so for purposes of learning lessons. Now that we're learning the lessons that we need to learn, We are rather also very interested in what is ahead of us. So for us to have a discussion as to what is ahead of us, because we were prepared for the voter exhibition, which was slated for, supposed to be about a week or two from here, but it has to be postponed to somewhere in August, which I'm told the date, even though it's somewhere 20th, but it's yet to be firmed up. We have also been told that there has been a bit of change in terms of giving people opportunity somewhere in August to a limited opportunity for some voter registration and transfer. So we came to listen and firm it up and hear from the horse's own mouth what these issues are, so that as we came initially before the process started to get the facts from the source, we can then also get the facts again from the source and then use that to shape our strategy going forward and making sure that the journey ahead of us will be far better in terms of security and other aspects of it than what we have just experienced.
On her part, Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, commended the National Election Security Task Force for safeguarding peaceful vote transfer and limited voter registration exercise. Jean Mensah used the opportunity to give timelines for mop-up and exhibition exercises to be undertaken by the Commission ahead of the December elections.
It's nipped in the bud. So all in all, we've witnessed a very successful program. I believe there are many lessons that we've learned, and but these are things that we would take stock of. We'd like to mention also that, we enjoy the police presence in all our registration centers across the country, not only in our offices, but also when our mobile teams were moving along the length and breadth of this country, they were able to do so freely and in liberty because of the security protection that we enjoyed. So all in all, it's been a very good exercise. We are poised, even in the lead up to, the exhibition exercise and the mop-up registration exercise. So I like to place on record that the mop-up voters registration exercise takes place from the 1st to the 3rd of August 2024, and it is to afford persons who turn 18 after the 29th of May, or persons who had not previously registered. It is to afford them the opportunity to get onto our register. This goes to persons who are eligible. After that, of course, we would also undertake the exhibition exercise, and that comes on from the 20th to the 27th of August. And it will take place in all 38,622 polling stations across the country from the 20th to the 27th of August. It's important to mention that from the 20th of August, we would also electronically put out some short codes to allow any interested citizen the opportunity to verify his or her registration details through their telephones. And so in the comfort of your homes and just behind your telephones, for a very small fee of some 30 pesos or so, Ghanaian citizens may verify their voter registration details. And if they may wish to change, or if there are any mistakes with the registration details, they can visit any of our offices across the country, or particularly in the district where they can visit the district where they are registered to vote to effect.
And from the EC headquarters here in Accra, let me take you to the northern region, where the mayor of Tamale, Suleiman Salifo, has bemoaned what he described as the seeming neglect in the distribution of furniture to Arabic English schools in the metropolis. He said over the years, these schools have been neglected when it comes to the distribution of furniture, indicating that the kids were suffering due to lack of furniture. He added that authorities have the responsibility to ensure that facilities that are supposed to house children are conducive for study. He said this when the Assembly handed over 700 dual metallic desks to the Education Directorate to be distributed to schools in the metropolis.
The Tamale Metro Assembly is manufacturing about 2,000 metallic dual decks through the SOCO project to be distributed to selected schools to help address the furniture deficit in the metropolis. Students in some schools within the Tamale metropolis still sit on the bare floor to study. In an interview with the mayor, Sule Salifu said the assembly was handing over 700 out of the 2,000 manufactured today.
The distribution list I have chanced in the office clearly shows that the English Arabic schools have been neglected in the distribution of furniture. So through the SOCO project, the assembly is constructing about 2,000 dual decks. And today, about 700 dual decks is ready. I want to start the distribution. As you can see, if we allow it to continue to stay outside here, with the rains coming, rusting will take place, and that will defeat the purpose for which the chairs were constructed. So today, with my district director, metro director of education, we will distribute them and await the rest of the chairs. And as and when it comes, we will distribute that. We have realized that our kids are suffering a lot in many of the schools. They have no furniture to sit on, and that discourages them from going to school. If we are calling on parents to send their children to school, I believe that the authorities also have the responsibility to ensure that the facilities that are supposed to give them conducive environment to study must be provided.
On his part, the Northern Regional Director of Education, Nelson Conlan, said challenges hindering teaching and learning in the region cannot be overemphasized, stating that the furniture will go a long way to address the shortfall.
The numerous challenges that I have in the metropolis cannot be overstated, of which furniture is number one. Our situations in schools are such that a lot of the children have not got certain places to effect teaching and learning. So when I heard this from the mayor that he has made some 700 dual desks to be distributed to some of my schools, I became delighted and interested in it. And I want to thank him so much for that intervention, and also ask that he should expedite action on the remaining that are yet to come, so that there can be a wide coverage of schools that have these problems affecting teaching and learning to take place.
Well, from the Northern region, let's head to Upper West, where a member of the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament, Superintendent retired Peter Lanche-Netobu, has alleged that there is secret recruitment being undertaken by the Interior Minister, which is against the laid-down rules and standard practice in recruiting personnel to the various security agencies. Superintendent retired Peter Lanche-Netobu, who doubles as a member of Parliament for Wild West, warned that the country is on the verge of being insecure if the right channels are not followed to recruit these personnel. He made the statement at a press conference in Wa. Join us as Upper West regional correspondent Rafiq Salam has more.
He stated that the press conference was necessitated by calls he received from all over the country regarding secret recruitment exercise embarked on by the Interior Ministry.
Though I am in the constituency, the pressure on me from Hamele to Axim, from Elubo to Aflao, everybody is calling. Police officers who have families who are interested in becoming security officers are calling me. People who have completed school and they have interest in joining the services are calling me. They are calling me about recruitment. And I have said it openly. Recruitment has a standard process. Get financial clearance from the Ministry of Finance, advertise for the information of the general public, let people who are interested in wearing the uniform, whichever one it is, apply voluntarily. And when they apply, you screen them. And when you screen them, you pick the ones that are the best, take them through examination. When they are done, they go through the medicals. And if they are true, they are ready to be trained.
Superintendent retired Peter Lanche-Netobu warned that the recruitment exercise superficially embarked by the Interior Minister will not help the development of the country.
And when you put square pegs in round holes, you can do that anywhere. And probably the results can impact us negatively, but not too bad. But if you do that in the security sector, our democracy is anchored on a strong security foundation. If the security sector collapses, we have ourselves to blame. Let's put our best inside Ghana's security sector, because it is clear that with that security, we cannot have development. And we're not just talking about security for the name's sake. We are talking about professionalism in our security sector. We are talking about dedication, commitment. We are talking about men and women of integrity wearing the uniform. The youth of this country are worried. The youth of this country are seeing hopelessness. The youth of this country believe that we are not transparent enough. The youth of this country believe that we don't want to be accountable. Every politician listening to me, transparency and accountability are key values of democracy. Let's go by that. And of course, if I go to apply and I'm not taken, those that are taken, I know that comparatively they are better than me.
And now defending champions of the Ashanti Regional NSMQ Kumasi Anglican SHS is in high hopes of defending the trophy after they successfully booked a slot at the next stage of this year's regional competition. The school escaped defeat to St. Joseph SHS by the skin of their teeth in defense of the championship trophy. The school is, however, set to compete with Prempeh College, Osei Tutu Boys Senior High School and St. Hubert Seminary at the semi-final stage later today. Emmanuel Bright Kweko reports from Kumasi.
So these are the reigning champions for the Ashanti region, National Science and Math Quiz. Last year they won it, they beat Prempeh College and Sims to lift their first trophy. And this time they are back again, starting all the way from this particular contest, the 1/8 stage of the Ashanti Regional National Science and Math Quiz. And I must say it was a heated contest between them and St. Joseph SHS. And they managed to edge past them in this particular round of the contest. And I can see they are all eager.
The thing be like say, we cast now, we will be better people. You see, just like the people in Adan said, the contest was simple. You get it?
The contest, what him say? Now I must say a theater, but near 10 years,
Are you sure you can retain the trophy this year?
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Yes, Real Madrid. Yes, Real Madrid. What's the last one? I'm Mujim one mark. Yes, come back.
So you think you can actually retain the trophy? But this it wasn't easy with St. Joseph. It wasn't easy.
Yes, it wasn't. But then we are sure.
It wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy, but then we are sure that yes, we'll retain the championship.
In Ashanti region, Kawabanga, the whole Ashanti region, Kawabanga, no one can compete him. Kawabanga,
Are you not sure Prempeh or Owas can beat you?
Prempeh, Owas, Kawabanga. Never. No one. We are ready for BC.
All right, so these are the students from Anglican SHS Kumasi, and they have qualified to the semi-final stage of the Ashanti Regional NSMQ, and they have qualified to the Ashanti Regional NSMQ, hoping to retain the trophy. They are really the regional champions. From last year they won it, and this time they are hoping to retain the trophy here in the Ashanti region. From here at the KNUST SHS, my name is Emmanuel Bratsky.
Well, all the best to Kumasi Anglican Senior High School. Well, up next is Business Update with Sweetie Abochi.
Let's do some business stories. Economist Professor Peter Korte is confident the official creditor committee's approval of government's deal with Eurobond holders to restructure the over $13 billion debt will bring some certainty to the market. He is hopeful the development will bring some stability to the macroeconomy and which will send a positive signal to investors.
If you look at our aid architecture, it's quite complex. But one of the most complex in the sub-region. We have several, about over 23 bilateral, multilateral donors. We have official creditors. We have, Eurobond. It's quite a complex, and negotiating with all of this, some under a different framework, the IMF, World Bank, G20 framework, whilst others have to be engaged bilaterally. So it's taking so long, but then it also depicts the complex nature of our debt architecture. I think we haven't concluded. We are still in the process. So one cannot be very certain that the city will immediately stabilize. Maybe it could have been worse if we hadn't reached an agreement, because the degree of uncertainty would have heightened, and that would have made our exchange rate very volatile. So it's early days, yes. Let's wait and see in the coming weeks what happens.
Associate Professor and founding head of the Department of Biomedical Engineering at the University of Ghana, Professor Elsie Ifa Kaufman, is advocating for the strategic use of artificial intelligence to advance Ghana's educational system. She shared her views during an interview with Joy Business at the Africa IED 2024 workshop in Accra.
AI is a tool. It's a tool to help us do things easier, better, faster. And very much like all the other technology tools we use in education, it is something that we should consider for what we do. However, because of the power of AI, it has made the work of the educator a little more difficult. That means we can't ask the same old questions we used to ask our learners. If you ask, what is this, can easily be found using the AI. So we now have to be more creative in engaging with our students so that they use the AI as a tool rather than as a source of all answers. If you have not engaged with a system before, so you are an old-time educator, you went to school when there was no AI, and you learned how to teach and how to assess your students using traditional methods, and now you have this new system and you don't make the time to learn what this new system is capable of, you will always get the AI as your answers, and you will be happily dealing with the AI answers as something that you receive regularly and you are not even aware of. So what we need to do is to make sure that those who are educating, our educators themselves, are aware of what is out there, what is possible. It requires a lot of capacity building to get them to understand so that they engage with their learners differently.
And that's it for Business Update. Handing back over to Denicia. But Denicia, it is good to see you back in the studio with us. Yes, I'm glad to be back. Well, that's it for AM News. But joining us for the news review is Dr. Wisdom Dugbe, his financial analyst, and Kojo Poku, his energy expert. My name is Denicia Pomaide. Enjoy the rest of the show.